Ooh, right, okay. Arsenal nil, Liverpool nil. Now, nil-nil results are, and I'll tell you this now, just, as a creator on the YouTube and Beyond team for so long, the worst. The worst for search, because you can't search because no one scored. And normally nil-nils make for a terribly boring game of football. This one wasn't though, was it? Oh my word. It had almost everything apart from ultimately the goal. And in some regards, it deserves to have someone with it. And let's be perfectly honest, on the balance of play and the way that game went, even in their stadium, the team that's going to cruise to the Premier League title, they're going to, aren't they? They should do, they must do. It'll be some sort of massive travesty on their part if they don't. But the team who look like most likely and most deserving there, it's Liverpool, right? And, when you consider what the Reds have been through, the worst start of the season in, 60, 70 years, injuries, players all over the place, your star player spitting his dummy out at not being picked, and then Liverpool go through a patch of turning the form around, maintaining an unbeaten run, but really all of us feeling like there's a little bit of something lacking in terms of the play, and haven't quite solidified it defensively and lost a little bit in attack. And so many fears coming into this game that Arsenal, I could see this game going one of two ways, and it was either Liverpool would snatch it in some sort of mad 2-1 win, 3-2 win, or Arsenal would batter us. And in the first half, we were very, very disciplined, very compact defensively, and Arsenal had the ball. They had the ball. They had it in our half, and they were tasked with breaking us down. And Liverpool really, really, really stuck to the challenge. A couple of little hairy moments where clearances don't quite go right, couldn't quite get out, and then we have one really good counter attack where we get out and we show we can do it, and then one where we win the ball back, and then we have a spell of possession, and it's only 5 minutes, but in that spell, Liverpool create, the most exciting moment of the game, which is to say, little mix-up at the back, and it drops to Bradley, and Bradley lobs the goalkeeper, and just can't keep it down. It hits the bar, comes out, and Arsenal are at panic stations. And look, for years, and it was Chris who told me this, I never realised this for years and years and years, but I've known this a while, that a shot that hits the post or the bar doesn't really count as a shot on target, because effectively you've definitively not scored, so it is a miss. So so normally we use that as a bit of a banterous term. When a team does that, you can go, ha ha ha, you didn't even have the shot on target, etc, etc. But it's always in a bit of fun, and it signified that Liverpool were in this game. They weren't there to sit back and get picked off. They wanted possession. We've been talking for weeks about what is Slot's style of football, what does he want? And yeah, he does want it. And, we talk about sterile possession sometimes. But, ultimately, the players on the pitch are tasked. They want to attack, they want to score, they want to make things happen. And Arsenal are a brilliant defensive side. They're the best defensive side in the league. With one of the most expensively assembled squads. When you've got a team full of that many good, expensive players who also want to park a bus, it's very hard to break them down. And actually, for once, for the first time in ages, Liverpool went, we'll try a bit of that. Go on, break us down. And yeah, I just thought it was a risky but a necessary first half. So it was a bit edgy, but actually I felt it was nice you could quite clearly see what our game plan was. And I mentioned it before, Liverpool have a game quite similar to that against Man City in the Champions League quarter-finals in 17-18. Pinned back, and then a little shot across the bar before half-time shows we can do it. And then obviously what happens after that in the second half is one for the history books. We went away to City in a similar-ish formation last season, got a 2-0 win, but City dominated the ball. And I was kind of saying at half-time, you should look to that. If you're feeling disappointed that Liverpool are not, maybe dominating the game or whatever, I wasn't really expecting it. But I genuinely wasn't expecting that second half from Liverpool at all. I thought we'd see a very similar style of play as the first half, but with a bit more. So we play out a little bit more instead of having one, nice full free-flowing breakaway. Maybe you get 3 or 4, and then you have a couple more spells of 5-minute spells when you're in possession of the football, and you can rest and maybe try and create something that way. Instead, Liverpool just took the ball and kept it and stretched Arsenal and moved them all over the place. And, I thought Frimpong was absolutely excellent, both in terms of being that outlet where you can just stick it down a channel and let him run it down, but actually with his close control and his dribbling. Really, really impressive to see. Cody Gakpo obviously doesn't get loads of those Gakpo-ish situations where he's wide left and he's dribbling towards the box looking for the shot, but he was a great outball for us. His height really offered something for us to be able to, again, this is Arsenal are a team, they've built a team of giants. They play 4 centre-halves across the back, and we really got in the faces and we really caused them problems. And for the first time in a while, this really assured Arsenal were making mistakes. They were giving silly balls away. I saw, they kept having to drop different men into the heart of their defence to try and build out, and they really struggled. Like Zubamendi did it for the lion's share, couldn't do anything with it. Rice tried it for a bit. Odegaard dropped in. When Saka's dropping in, you know that you've really, really given him a bad game. So, yeah, you could see the signs where Liverpool were turning the screw, and you could see the mental unravelling that was happening to Arsenal. And then you look at the substitutions. The Sky brought up the graphic. Liverpool had 60 something odd million pounds on the bench, which is not to be sniffed at. But Arsenal had 260 odd. Half of the value on our subs bench came from our sub goalie in Georgie Mamardashvili. And Liverpool don't go to the bench, and that is something that will need to come. We probably would have been nice to be able to do like for like, but Arsenal could. Arsenal were able to make 5 substitutions, one of them enforced, of course. I think they obviously wanted to keep Nketiah on, but they did like for likes. They've built this amazing squad. It's a squad that's going to win the Premier League, but they'll walk away. And look, they didn't need to win that. They've got that cushion, but they didn't play that game like they didn't need to win it. They played like they really, really wanted to win it and just couldn't wrest the game back to their control. So yeah, as much as when you look at I'm just looking at the stats, Alisson makes more saves, they have more shots, their expected goals is more, and so many of the stats are good. But yeah, I think Liverpool win the possession, fine. But there was a point in that second half where we had 70% possession of the football against Arsenal, and not in the last 5 minutes. We turned the possession around to totally and utterly dominate them in their own yard, and I think that's very, very, very encouraging, very promising. If we'd just been able to nick that winner, what a springboard that could have been. Not to go and challenge for the title, of course not, but really just to make everyone in the squad, all the Liverpool fans, feel a little better for it. But I saw enough there that it's put a smile on my face, that performance, and I haven't had loads of those. Outside of the individual goals we scored, the performances have been a bit lacking. And look, we've seen it this season. We've been able to go toe-to-toe with some really good teams this year. The manager said it this week. He recognises that it's not been good enough. The style of play has not been ideal. There's going to need to be more. I agree. I think everyone agrees there needs to be more and better from Liverpool. We don't want to just yada our way into fourth. I want Liverpool to be able to be competitive. I want us to run Aston Villa down and keep Man City honest, and just win as many games of football as you can between now and the end of the season, and just see what happens. Leave us all feeling like it's going in the right direction. This game isn't necessarily that. There are going to be teams to come where it'll be back to those people bypassing the press and Liverpool looking to be undone with, direct football and what have you. Well, you know what? Let's see if we've learned from that. Let's see if we can take the real positives. And for me, the things that are replicable are the collectivism in terms of the way the team moved around. Everyone got back in. Cody Gakpo in that first half, we went quite man for man against them. Cool. Gakpo's basically playing left back, inside of Kerkez doing the defensive duty. Kerkez, again, brilliant on the defensive side of things. Bradley the same. Frimpong getting back into the defend. All of the central midfield players, again, all sticking to the task and getting dug in. You saw our back four at times defending within the width of the 18-yard box. That's vintage. When Klopp got a handle on the defence, that's how Liverpool would defend. We used to let Milner and Henderson and those type of players and Wijnaldum aid the fullback, go out and defend the winger, and let the back four defend the 18-yard box. That was really encouraging. And yeah, we need to add more in an attacking sense. We do. But again, for a team that was lacking a recognised centre forward, with no Ekitike and with no Isak and without Salah there, most teams, if you think about the comparative footballers to any top team in Europe, you're talking about the 3 best attacking footballers there. Even if they don't necessarily all play in the same 11, potentially, most teams would struggle to be at their absolute best in an attacking sense with those players out. So yeah, I'm choosing to see the positives. How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to give my man of the match. Chris gave it to Frimpong on the watch along. Cool. Maybe someone like Alexis McAllister. He's had a tough season, and I thought he really dug in for the team today. So yeah, I'll give it to Alexis. Drop a like. Check out our app. It is on the App Store. Search Redmen Plus. It is sensational. This will be on there, as well as all of our free stuff and all of our podcast stuff as well, from all those other apps that normally you have to go to. You can get it now in one place. And if you subscribe, it's just £1 for this week to subscribe for the month. It's all ad-free. All the free stuff is now ad-free on there. And there's extra content and better and more content. It's not just like bonus stuff. Proper, full-blown shows and podcasts to get your teeth into. So, yeah, join us over on the Redmen Plus app right now.